Hey there everybody, hope your day is going well. Jared Old School Gaming here, and welcome back to another Thoughtful Thursday. Getting into, I think it's actually called something else, but I'm just calling it the ALfheim online arc. Do forgive any, weirdness with the new camera. I'm still kind of getting used to it. This is actually technically the only other video I've recorded with this improved and, well, I shouldn't say improved, just new face cam. I'm still getting used to, adjusting it and the settings and all that. Yeah, so, if anything's off, then, well, forgive me. I am trying. But anyway, enough about that. Time to get into, well, the next arc of Sword Art Online. Thankfully not as long. Well, this one. No, it's going to be the one after next. It's going to be just as long as Aincrad, but yeah, that I'll get around to that when I get around to it. Anyway, yeah, not at this point. Nothing has changed about the studio, artist, author, anything. So, hell, let's just jump right into it. Link start. Now, okay, the new intro starts, well, at least a few minutes, or not even a few, just a couple, not even two, like a minute and a half into the first episode of this arc. Well, it is Innocence by Aoi, or Aoi? I don't. Maybe someone can put like a bracket of pronunciation in the in one of the comments. Yeah, but so with this new intro, the visuals all come together to represent that the line between a person's real self and a person's virtual self really isn't all that far off. I mean, hell, after all, the new atmosphere, which replaced the nerve gear, still interacts directly with the brain. So, I mean, all the different people that Kirito meets along the way, well, and Yui too, are mostly there as, waypoints to get him to where he needs to be. And I do like how, the visuals show not just Recon, but eventually Sugo as Oberon, just, in the reflections, just oh, here's the real, here's the virtual. Well, but Sugo doesn't actually get a reflection of Oberon until episode, I made a note, episode 18's opening credits. Which is actually quite nice, because it's just oh, here's this perv asshat, and then once it's revealed who he is, oh, hey, Oberon in the reflection. Yeah, other animes need to take note. Stop putting so many goddamn spoilers in the opening sequence. Just because that was perfect. It's just, oh, here's perv asshat just walking away from a window. Then once it's revealed that he goes into ALfheim Online, oh hey, they are one and the same. So we start, well, it's been 2 full months since SAO ended, but Kirito still dreams about just sitting on the porch of their of their forest cabin with Asuna. And then the dream itself quickly turns into a nightmare as everything, the entire, all the different sections of the cabin, some apples, everything just digitizes, Asuna disappears, and yeah, and then Kirito just looks at the clock and he's just, damn, I've become such a crybaby, which, yeah, and yes, I know that, his name is Kazuto, but most people still call him Kirito, so it's just easier to just call him that, unless the situation actually calls to really call him Kazuto. So now we get to meet Suga, who's Kirito's sister, cousin, and is voiced by Cassandra Lee Morris. She's just in the backyard getting some kendo practice, and she notes that she and Kazuto don't really look that much alike, and she just kind of lost in thought while practicing, and, well, Kirito's just sitting right there watching, just, yeah. Yeah, he notes that the bamboo sword is lighter. It's a timber bamboo. I don't really know kendo, so I have no idea what the different types of bamboos would weigh. But I mean, his brain would be used to like holding up a what was it? The dark repulsor and the elucidator, if I can say the word. But yeah, he's just used. Well, at least his brain is used to something heavier, and he offers to go sparring, and she's just, are you sure? Because she was apparently a quarterfinalist in the middle school nationals, and they take their poses. Suzuha does the classic two-handed forward pose. Kirito does his holding it back behind them pose. And she's just, what the hell is that? Well, it's his own style. Of course, it's the style he's been used to for the past 2 years. So, and 2 months, but they go back and forth a bit, and then Tsukuha has the advantage. Kirito really hasn't come back from Aincrad, because not only is he unable to really do anything without the sword skills from Sword Art Online helping him, he just attempts to sheath it on his back, just, wait, oh, no, that's not right. And then, Kirito heads out to the hospital to visit Asuna. Kirito told the Ministry of Internal Affairs everything he knew about, what happened in the game and Akihiko Kaiba and all that. And apart from Asuna, there's still about 300 players that haven't woken up yet. So it's almost like the game hasn't ended yet, despite all the crap they all went through. Apparently some people speculate that Akihiko Kaiba is still planning something with those 300 players, because he's missing. Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't really matter too much, really. But yeah, Kirito joined in the room by Asuna's father, who's Shoso Yuki, and Sugo, who's voiced by Todd Haberkorn. Now, I know I've heard Todd Haberkorn in a number of roles. I honestly cannot name any other villains. But then again, maybe it's just because I don't expect Todd Haberkorn to be a villain, that I would never expect it, never try to hear his voice. As I get into other stuff, maybe he'll pop up some more. And Sugo is, at least, what's the word I want to use? I guess for lack of a better term, he's friendly in mixed company. Now, he wants to make it official, and wants to see Asuna in a wedding dress. And, apparently the rules of Asuna's marriage is that, they can't be legally married since Asuna's in a coma. But if the Yuki family adopts him, it'll be as though they're married, since Sugo's father, Daddy Dearest, is on the board of Wrecked Progress, who now owns the servers that SAO was on. Because SAO was once owned by Argus Industries, but then all the lawsuits and damages and everything that they had to pay out caused them to go completely bankrupt. Then Wrecked Progress bought them, and, Sugo's daddy is an important member of the board, so as he calls it, or as Sugo says, he's the reason that Asuna is still alive. No, the servers your daddy owns are the reason Asuna's still alive. And apparently Asuna being in a coma is favorable since, he knows that she would reject him outright. And Kirito just demands that he gets his hands off of her, but yeah, apparently Sugo has a right to Asuna because of all the server crap. Oh, and Asuna gets to be compensation for his troubles. And he says, hey, I don't ever want to see you visiting her again, but please, come to the wedding. You should see it. has like less than a week to like figure out what in the hell, like how to get Asuna back. Getting home, well, Kirito's understandably depressed because it's just like Asuna's being stolen out from under him, quite literally, by perv ass hat. And like Sugaha just like consoles him and just like, hey, you can't give up, you can't stop fighting. She can't really understand like what Kirito went through, but also what, well, how anyone else would have gone through in that death game. And she remembers like back when they were visiting Kirito, like her mother would say like, oh, like that Kirito found out about the adoption, and Suga's just, oh, did he distance himself from us because he found out he was adopted? Like he got really into computers and games and stuff, and well, the mom just says, well, no, he was always kind of into that stuff anyway. And, in that night, Kirito does manage to cry himself to sleep, but he at least remembers Suga's words to just hang in there, at least, and that can kind of let him take a few more steps. Just before he gets an email from Egil about, a strange picture. Looks like almost a blurry image of Asuna there. What's going on? Now, before getting into the next episode, the ending theme would be Overfly by Luna Haruna. There's a little bit of animation this time at least, but the visuals mainly focus on Sugaha as she's kind of like reflecting back on her life and like all the different core memories that she's kind of just like, whenever she thinks about Kirito in her past, there are certain core memories like going to kendo practice or just like, eating some candy with the family. And there's not really much more to it except like the whole like her avatar Leafa just staring at the world tree in ALfheim. And I gotta remember to keep looking at the actual camera, not to the side where it used to be. I'm still getting used to the new camera lens position. Yeah, but like I say, the ending theme, yeah, there is some good stuff. It mainly, like I said, mainly focused on Sugaha and how she's like, because she is kind of dealing in a way of her brother waking up, but she doesn't really know how to go forward. Mainly because she didn't have the experience of being stuck in that game for 2 years. Yeah. But she can kind of start to empathize, at least after a little while. Yeah, Kirito gets to go to Egil's actual place of business, the Dicey Cafe. I like that name. Yeah, and now they're still friends. They can joke around. Just Kirito walks in, the place is empty. Just, hey, did you scare all your customers away? Hey, this place is popping at night. Yeah, they do get right down to business, and because there's a new game now, ALfheim Online, which is apparently it's not level-based, because Aincrad was level-based, and the ridiculous overpoweredness was in, Celica's episode, whichever number that was. Yeah, the ridiculous overpoweredness of a leveling system was displayed there, but ALfheim Online is skill-based. You use a skill over and over again, so that way it can improve. It's like one skill gets leveled up. Kinda cool. Oh, and people can fly. That would actually be really, really neat. Although Kirito gets a little too excited about maybe the potential ability to fly. Now, the blurry picture of Asuna was taken in the game, because there's supposed to be a world tree in the center of the map, and with a floating castle on top. Each one is Yeah, each one of the 9 races tries to get to the top, which is kind of like the grand quest, but there's a limit to how high someone can fly because there's a time limit. 5 players just all like piggybacked off of each other, the biggest on top, smallest on bottom. They could barely reach the bottom branches. And it was just like they took a picture, found a birdcage, and inside the birdcage, kind of looks like Asuna, but I mean, at least they didn't do some bullcrap like zoom, enhance, zoom, enhance, zoom, enhance. It's just like, it's kind of spread out. It's a little blurry. Maybe that's a person, or maybe we're just creating images that we want to see. And then the game itself was developed by Wrecked Progress, which is the same company that Sugo is creeping around. And Kid just seems a little nonchalant about a game where it's just, well, hey, if it's okay to die, it can't be that bad. I think he might just be, like, essentially, how to put it? It's almost like he's in such deep denial that Asuna is getting away that he's kind of overcompensating for that by going deep into what will be ALfheim Online. And at least he can borrow the game because it is compatible with the Nerve gear. And hey, Eagle just says, hey, the battle's not over until it's over. Yeah, because, well, hell, 300 people still need to wake up. Yeah. Yeah, but Suga, I don't understand why Suga just, like, inhaled that muffin. It's just like, it's not going anywhere. Just yeah, Kato can at least thank her for, talking him through everything. Yeah, and he's just staring at the nerve gear for a while before he jumps into ALfheim Online. And somehow he's able to keep the name Kirito, despite how popular he became by clearing SAO. Someone definitely would have taken the name. That's one thing about the SAO bridge where it's just like, okay, Kirito. I select this name. This name was already taken. Okay, let me try adding some numbers, and then 20 minutes later, oh my god, yes, just take this goddamn name. And he selects a Spriggan, because, I mean, hell, why wouldn't he? But, I mean, he logs in, and some kind of glitch happens, and instead of, like, dropping into, well, Spriggan territory, he ends up in a neutral forest area. And through, I do like that when he brings up the menus the first time, immediately, the first thing he does is look for a logout button. It's there. But then all of his items are just like infinite question marks. He's just, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. But, except this, I didn't make a note of what it was actually called, but the one item that actually has a name instead of a ton of question marks is the diamond, Yui's heart. And it's so fantastic that Yui gets to be there, because she can give a full rundown of so much. The game itself, like ALfheim Online, was pretty much copied directly from SAO. I mean, how the cardinal system apparently needs some updating. I guess it was rolled back a bit just to make ALfheim Online work. But the way the save data is formatted is exactly the same. Like, pretty much the entire system is running on the exact same system. And so, and because he chose something that was so closely similar to his SAO avatar character himself, kinda, everything, all the stats carried over. But he has to delete all the items before the system, like, does a routine check and finds the error. I mean, that kind of sucks. He had a lot of stuff, but it's just, okay, fine. And how so long as, like, the game master or really an administrator doesn't check on him, no one's really going to notice because no one can really see his stat screen except for him. Well, and of course, like any game master administrator, whatever. Yeah, now, he's no longer a beater. He's just a plain old cheater. And Yui is recognized in this new system as a support, a player support program, as a navigation pixie. Unfortunately now she doesn't have any admin privileges, but she can only access surface level data. Well, maybe she could try to access higher level systems, but it would probably set off a few alarms. And it's just, well, this isn't really the time to do that. But, even with accessing the surface level data, she can detect other players and, teach Kirito, how exactly to use the flight control system, at first with a controller. And then the nearby players are, well, Lifa and Rekon, who's voiced by Mary Ann Miller. Yeah, they're running away from a gang of salamanders trying to get to the safety of their own self-territory. Yeah, Lifa can at least hold her own, but with Rekon taken down, and without any backup or distraction to the enemy, everyone can quickly concentrate on her. But then the power of main character, and Kirito shows up just in the nick of time. Yeah, everyone is really just like, oh hey, you noob, you have beginner level equipment and gear. But because of all of his SAO stats, he can just quickly whack, just take him down. And Lifa's just, well, yeah, you might as well, because honestly, they weren't actually going to let you get away. Yeah, at this point, everyone more or less just passes on trying to fight Kirito. Hell, the main salamander just wants to get away because his magic skill is close to leveling up. He doesn't want to take the penalty for respawning. And promises to bring more friends next time. Yeah, and the Lifa is just kind of suspicious because, it's just like, you're in the middle of nowhere and you're a Spriggan. You're not even near Spriggan territory. But the thing is, at least in this game, when someone's hit points reach 0, the remainder flame can still kind of listen in to nearby things. Kirito kind of jokes that it's just, oh hey, this is a shining knight in armor saves the princess, so she should burst in tears and throw her arms around him. No, Yui will not allow that. Yeah, Kirito wants to know about the game, and at least thanks to Yui, knows that the Sylvain city is closer, and even though that's the middle of Sylph territory, and it's only Sylphs are normally there, well, as long as he doesn't provoke anyone, should be fine. Maybe. Yeah, Lifa's able to give him a flying tutorial, how to fly without using the controller, and he's kind of almost getting the hang of it until she just shoves him up into the air, and he's zipping around just what the hell, how do I control this? But it doesn't take him too long to get the hang of it. The thing is, as they're both flying straight to Sylvain, how does Yui get tired? She's an AI. But whatever, I guess she just wants to take a rest inside Kirito's pocket. Yeah. And unfortunately, Lifa didn't go over any, landing techniques, which, I don't know, if you know how to fly, with or without, some kind of controller thing, wouldn't it be kind of easy to just, okay, slow down, descend, and let the wings go, drop 2 inches to the ground. Not a big deal, you would think. But hell, at least Lifa heals him, and especially good since Sylphs are more particularly skilled in healing magic, but there are certain basic skills that everyone can use. And apparently, Spriggans are skilled at treasure hunting and illusion magic. How is treasure hunting a magic? I don't know, but well, Reckon was able to respawn back in the safe zone, and then and Leafa blows them off so that way they can get to a bar and, well, in-game bar and log out. Kira asks if the aggressiveness of the salamanders was normal, but apparently they're like getting a little more organized, almost like they're gearing up to take on the world tree. Yeah, every player ever since the game launched has been trying to get to the top, since the normal flight limit is 10 minutes, but the floating city ruled by Fairy King Oberon, and anyone that can make it to the top will be transformed into an ALf that can fly with absolutely no time limit. And I guess being able to fly becomes addicting, which, hell, I can see that. And apparently it's been a full year and then some after launch, which means that the game came out, and even the atmosphere came out while the SAO incident was still active. Kind of brave to just like, oh hey, here's a new one that's better, and a new game that essentially does the same thing but with magic. I don't know. If I was outside of SAO, I would have still been kind of hesitant. Well, first I would have been hesitant to buy some giant clunky thing that goes over my entire head. But even the atmosphere, I don't know. I wouldn't want to lose complete control of my body. I'd rather other people test it first before I get it. Which, hell, means I wouldn't even be part of the SAO incident in the first place. So it's possible that there's some, like, missing quest that no one's really gotten, because no one's been able to get to the top and clear the big quest to like, get to the top of the tree. And no other races would want to work together, because it's like only one race will actually get the infinite wings. Well, according to the quest. And at this point, well, at least Leafa promises to show Kirito around, since he doesn't really know the game all that well. And yeah, as Kirito eventually logs out, well, he doesn't log out immediately. He gets around and then just kind of cuddles with Yui until, well, I guess he takes a nap and then eventually logs out. And he promises that they will all live together in a house one day. Wonder which house. Then up in the world tree, well, it is indeed Asuna that's trapped in there, and, well, here comes Oberon, perv asshat. I mean, he's calling her Titania, because in the game, he is Oberon, the king of the fairies, and she's the beautiful bride. Yeah, I really am glad he gets his comeuppance. And there's some definite, absolute venom in Asuna's voice, as she just essentially tells Sugo to shove off. Yeah, and she will never give him her heart, only disgust and hatred. And then he calls, like, taking her by force a joke. That's not exactly a joke there, dude. Thankfully, he does change the subject, noting that all the tens of thousands of players that log into ALfheim every day don't realize the true potential of a full dive system. Yeah, because apparently it can be used to influence a person's emotions. And how that would be, well, definitely illegal most places. Apparently, yeah, well, it would definitely still be researched. I mean, hell, there are, like, biological weapons are illegal, but there's still biological weapon research, because not everyone follows the Geneva Conventions, and something could happen. Yeah, he calls Kaiba a fool for only wanting to use the type of technology for a game when it could be used to truly study the brain and figure out how to manipulate it. And as SAO was shutting down, he was able to like reroute 300 guinea pigs to like study the brain and truly figure out how to manipulate it. Apparently there's some, he doesn't name the place, but it's an American corporation is very interested. How he even threatens to manipulate Asana's memories, hoping that she'll be a bit more submissive. But he thankfully leaves, and she tries to stare at the keypad as he's putting the numbers in, but like her vision is blurred around the thing, so like she cannot make out up, left, up, down, left, or right, or center, or anything. Lying in bed, Sugaha's wondering. Well, she's like staring up at the poster, apparently of herself flying through the skies. Yeah, she used to hate virtual reality because they took Kazuto away. In a way, she wanted to see for herself why he enjoyed the games so much, and so she ended up playing and fell in love with the ability to fly. She does go to school despite like apparently school being out for a while, and she runs into Nagata, who tries to call her Lifa and then Sugaha, but she insists that he call her by her family name. Nagata's wondering just like if they're going to go on a raiding party together, but she already promised Kirito to guide Kirito to the World Tree. And he tries to say, oh, so you guys are going to be like sleeping in the same bed? She slugs him one, for obvious reasons. Yeah, and she's already made up her mind on what she'll do. Then into the game, Leaf and Kirito go shopping for some better equipment for Kirito, and of course he gets, the heavy one-handed sword. Yeah, they meet up at the tower and encounter Sigurd, who's apparently the leader of Lifa's self-hunting party. And, he apparently at one point he told her that, she could only join when she had the time and quit when she likes, but her leaving would damage the reputation of the party. And Kirito's just, dude, shut the hell up. Party members are not your items. You can't expect. They're not your armor, they're not your weapons, they're not your healing items. You cannot expect them to be on call whenever you want. He's about to attack him when one of the lackeys just, hey, if we attack this guy here with all these witnesses, it could make us look bad. And he's just, yeah, probably. Yeah, apparently a term for this, at least for this game specifically, is called a renegade. Someone who gets kicked out of their own race's territory. And there's apparently... And Lifa does make a good point, pointing out that what's the point of being tied down by titles if everyone has wings? Yeah, and... at this point, Yui points out that human psychology is confusing. Because, yeah, and she does have a good point. Why do we all act so horrible to each other when all we want is companionship? Well, like maybe different levels of companionship from different people, but still companionship altogether. Yeah, Reckon comes out to see them off, but he can't go with them because something's apparently been bugging him about, Sigurd and the rest of the party. And he wants to go investigate. And, we're gonna see here soon. And of course, flying away, Lifa just kind of looks back at the Sylph town, Sylvain? Yeah, that was the name, but... And she just looks back at Sylvain, and then... saying that they should probably make it to a lake before too long. Back up in the birdcage, Asana's being pestered by Oberon. And he's just, trying to touch her, and she's just... And he's just, hey, it's not your real body. And she's just, shut up, I don't care if it's real or virtual. And she refuses to stay cooped up forever. She knows Kirito, or she at least has faith, Kirito will save her. And Oberon goes off just laughing, because he's just, because he he brags about telling Kirito how he was going to marry Asuna instead, and watch the color drain from his face. And at that moment, it was the only moment that Asuna had any reaction. Probably because she knows that, hey, there are 300 guinea pigs in here. Like, even if she has faith that Kirito will save her, there's still that one tiny spark of doubt nagging at her. What if he was one of the 300 players that was captured? Thankfully he wasn't. That's like the only time that she's had any reaction to Oberon's words other than just, like staring daggers, literally. And as Oberon's leaving and punching in numbers, Asuna actually can see the numbers reflected in the mirror. I mean, hell, even if they're backwards, she's more than smart enough to go like, that's the code. And then back over the forest, it was Kirito and Leafa fighting different flying creatures. They take a break. But in order to log out in the middle of the field, they need someone to watch over their avatar as they log out real quick, grab something to eat, then come back. And they might as well take a break right there, because the next mountain that they need to get past, the only way to get through it is to go through some caves, because trying to fly over it would be too far past the altitude limit. Now, as Supercut gets out, she's kind of questioning herself, kind of just more reassuring herself that she's just happy to be on an adventure in a new world. But, she makes something for Kazuto real quick and takes a quick bath and gets back in. Then Leafa logs back in and, Kitra has some, super spicy stick. And she just takes one puff and... That's actually kind of it reminds me of something interesting, because, my own sister and I ordered from some... I don't want to name it. It's it was a super, super local place. They have some really good smothered burritos. She got the mild, I got the hot. And then, we both got our smothered burritos. They looked exactly the same. There was zero difference. Just figured, I don't know, this one's yours, this one's mine, I don't know. She takes one bite of the, at that point, figuring out that it was the hot one, she takes one bite and then chugs 2 entire bottles of water before going, what the hell was that? I'm just, wait, did you get mine by accident? She takes a little bit of the smothered mixture from mine. She just, okay, I can handle that. That must be the medium. Here's your hot one. Holy crap. Kind of funny. Yeah, and then she just, Leafa takes one bite of that super spicy stick, and she's just, get out of here before I kill you. Yeah, and of course Yui can move on her own, because technically she's not a personal pixie, but yeah, Leafa's super surprised, and it's just that's not right. Yeah, and Yui kind of explains that, Kirito saved her, which, I mean, without context is still confusing. And then Kirito logs in very quickly, because, technically, Sugahad left out something for him, so he's just able to eat that real quick and log right back in. And he gets the feeling that they're being watched. And apparently there are magical tracers that can be placed on someone, and it can be an innocuous object, like a little butterfly or something, but in an open field would take way too long to try and find. And as they fly off into the sky, a little bat just follows them as several shadowed figures stand up under the canopy of the forest. As Kirito and Leafa enter the caves, I guess night vision is kind of an illusion. Because, in Morrowind, it's, it is under the illusion. Wait, can I talk about it? Yes, I can, because Intermediary Vlog 5 would have been last month. Yeah, even in Oblivion, night vision is part of an illusion spell. Yeah, Leafa kind of makes a joke that, well, I guess in certain situations, lame spriggan magic might actually come in handy. I guess, I don't know, with night vision being such, at least in my opinion, playing Oblivion and Morrowind, like, night vision is definitely a super essential spell so that we can actually see what in the hell's going on in those dark-ass caves. Yeah, and like, learning magic in the game is just, like, almost like learning an entire other language, because it's more than just, like, selecting the spell, pressing a button, and poof, cast. It's a full dive. You have to actually, chant the words to cast a spell. And Leafa gets some incomplete message from Recon saying he was right about S. His city starts with S. And then and Yui detects a bunch of player movement from behind them. Leafa tries to put up some kind of disguise spell so that way it looks like just part of the wall. But Kirito sees a bat. And then apparently the bat is, well, indicative of salamanders. So they have to run. And hell, even that underground city is quite an amazing visual there. Yeah, they run across the bridge and it's just like, can we swim? Nah, unless you really want to be lunch. Well, that's after a giant stone wall blocks their path. And Kirito, well, thick-headed, first response, whack! Oof! Nope, that's not gonna work. Yeah, and hell, at that point, really the only option is to fight. So Kirito offers to fight so long as Leafa promises to heal him. So that way he can fight even harder. And at least the salamanders do have a good enough plan, because they essentially drop a shield wall to block the attacks. Healers are just behind them, healing them, and just behind them is a set of mages just all attacking all at once. And these poor bastards don't realize that Kirito is protected by the power of main character. He just screams out in determination. Yui convinces Leafa to just, put up a shield, use all of her magic to protect him. And and as, well, hell, even as Swordland is playing, Yui calls out to just do it. He can use, some type of illusion magic to transform into a giant monster. Which, I don't know, is it really just illusion? Because it's the creature itself is just grabbing them up in its claws, and they're elevated. It's not as though, well, I don't know, unless Kirito's actually ramming them on his pike and then launching them into the air, but that still doesn't make sense. I don't know. I think it's a little more than just an illusion. How Beast Kirito gets to slice, dice, chomp, and throw everyone around like a ragdoll until, the second to last player is so scared he just jumps in, gets eaten by the creatures. One guy survives, and Leafa tries to interrogate him, but Kirito's just, no. That's not how you interrogate someone. This is how you interrogate someone. Promises to give back all the items and money if the salamander answers certain questions. Apparently, Kirito's little stint, I guess you could say, when he first logged in, ruffled a few feathers, so, a full 12-party team went to hunt the two of them down for messing with the plan. Hell, that guy, even when he logged in, noted that, a huge, 60-something party was just, heading out north. Kirito does kind of make a joke about how, he kind of lost control, supposedly, to the monster. He really felt like a monster, and chomping on him tasted just like grilled meat just before it gets burnt, all crispy and crunch. And Leafa promptly slaps him. And they're shopping around town. Kirito's just, oh hey, didn't you get some kind of a message? And she's just, oh hey, yeah. And just like, hey Yui, make sure he doesn't mess around with the avatar. And she's just, yes ma'am. Yeah, and then, well, Leafa looks out, Suga wakes up, and it's just, holy crap, there's a lot of missed calls from Nagato. Yeah, and he explains that, apparently Sigurd betrayed the Sylph commander. Because apparently the last time the party encountered some salamanders, Sigurd volunteered to be like the bait to draw off some of the salamanders, when usually he orders someone else to do that. Yeah, now apparently Sigurd is a spy for the salamanders, and Rekon followed them down into the sewers in some kind of a secret meeting. Yeah, apparently the commander of the Sylphs is in an alliance meeting with the leader of the Katsi. And, if something happens, then that could potentially spark a war between some of the races. Yeah, Leafa logs back in, and how they rush off. I mean, after all, if the alliance doesn't happen, yeah, most likely there'll be a war between the Sylphs and the Katsi, and, well, the Salamanders will definitely profit. Because I guess defeating a race leader gets 30% of that race's current money, and they can invade the hometown for 10 days, charge whatever tax they want, which, I mean, hell, that amount of money would definitely be one hell of a way to get, one race geared up enough to make an attempt at the world tree. Especially, there'd technically be two race leaders, the Sylph and the Katsi. Leafa even just says, since you want to reach the top of the world tree, maybe it'd be better to just be a mercenary for the salamanders. And he's just, a lot of people see things as just a game, but even in a virtual world, there are certain things that need to be protected because it's a virtual world. And even if you were to give into impulses in the virtual world, well, it will change things in the real world. He even says, hey, you're a good person, and hell, Kirito says he would never attack a friend, even for his own benefit. Then he just grabs her hand and runs at full speed, which, I mean, hell, with his speed stat might as well be flying. and they just launch into the exit. As they're running out of the tunnel so fast that all the ape monsters that were supposed to kind of be like obstacles to stop them from running out so quick, they just left so quick that a lot of the apes are being pushed off the cliff because the apes in back are pushing, trying to attack the players that just came through. Yeah, hell, at least Leafa knows where the meeting is taking place, and they need to just go at absolute top speed. As they're getting closer, Yui's the first to notice there are 68 players vying information, and there's only 14 players on a nearby plateau. Jeez. Overkill much? Yeah, Leafa, again, Leafa just almost tries giving up and just, yeah, you can go. At least we tried, but, I mean, hell, running away isn't his style. and just as, the salamanders are about to, launch in and attack, main character timing again. And how Kirito calls out for the commander of the salamanders. And hello to the general of the Blazing Flame, Eugene. Yeah, Kirito puts up a bluff that he's apparently an ambassador for the Spriggan Undine Alliance. Tried to negotiate terms with the Sylph and the Katsi. And if the Salamanders were to attack, it would be four different races: the Sylph, the Katsi, the Spriggans, and the Undine, all coming after the salamanders all at once. Yeah, Eugene makes an offer that, hey, if Kirito can survive for at least 30 seconds, he'll believe Kirito is an ambassador. And then Eugene's gigantic sword apparently requires a two-handed skill of 950 just to wield. And has a unique, phasing power that can pass through a solid object in order to hit the next object. And hell, after 30 seconds, well, Kirito's still standing, but Eugene decides to just finish the fight anyway. And Kirito just takes a number of hits because he cannot technically block his sword can be blocked, but he can't block Eugene's sword. At least not with one. Yeah, he releases a giant cloud of smoke, and then borrows Leafa's sword so that way he can dual wield again. And at least that way he can overcome the phase shift of Eugene's sword, because hey, it passes through one, it can't pass through a second one later. And hell, Swordland gets to play once again. And Kirito just descends from the light of the sun itself. Well, I guess a virtual sun, but still. And then finally wins the bout. Just yeah. Now leaving everyone just completely stunned that he won. Yeah, and it was Sakuya and Alicia break the silence by just praising the achievement. Yeah, Eugene gets resurrected, and at least he has good sportsmanship. Compliments Kirito being the best player he's ever seen. And Eugene does agree to withdraw after a soldier, one of the soldiers that Kirito met when he logged in, lies for him for some reason, saying that, this guy was accompanied by an undine in the forest. Sakuya and Alicia are confused as all salamanders leave, so Kirito and Leafa can at least give the explanation, because, regarding Sigurd. Yeah, apparently he is someone who just craves power, and he's disappointed that the self-races started to follow behind. So, in some point in the future, there might be some kind of reincarnation system. I guess you can only play as one character and one character forever. You can't sample different character or different races. Whatever. But in the future update, there might be some kind of a resurrection system. So Sigurd can reincarnate as Salamander, so he can be part of a more powerful party. Yeah, Alicia casts a spell which is a moonlight mirror. Yeah, and Sigurd tries to bluff, saying that the armies would be nothing without him, and she's just, hey, you don't want to be part of the self territory? Then you're going to be banished, stripped of your rank, and you can wander as a renegade. Goodbye. Okay, at that point, Alicia's just, you're not really an ambassador, are you? Nope. Yeah, the non-existent Swiggen Undine alliance. Oops. It could have been kind of neat, but, yeah. Yeah, Alicia tries to, essentially wear Kirito's, left arm, just hey, if you work as a mercenary for us, we'll give you some benefits. Then Sakuya also tries to seduce him with, something else on his right. And, Kirito has to turn them both down, because he needs to get to the world tree with Leafa. Yeah, and Kirito was kind of suggesting earlier that maybe two races could get through the world tree, and apparently Sakuya and Alicia were planning to make a joint race effort to get to the world tree, get to the top. Yeah, and Kirito just says he's trying to reach someone he can't reach in real life, but in game he might be able to. Yeah, but getting together a raiding party of a decent enough size to take on the World Tree would take too long. Kyoto just gives like a gigantic bag. Look, he can hold it just fine. As soon as Alicia grabs it, oh Jesus, what the hell? Yeah, they promise. They at least promise to get ready as fast as they possibly can. Yeah, leaving Kyoto and Leaf alone, and Yui's just, hey, your heartbeat increased when those two ladies were hanging on to you, and he's just, hey, I'm a guy. It just happens. All the way up in the clouds, Asuna gets to enter the code, so that way she can get out and find her own way to fight back. Kyoto and Leaf arrive at the capital of Arun at the base of the World Tree. Some system announcement. Boom. Yeah, that almost triggers a moment of PTSD for Kyoto, because the last time he heard that, he got trapped in the game for 2 years. It's just about like some kind of server maintenance that, hey, everyone should log off because there's going to be some server maintenance. You'll be able to log in tomorrow. Okay, not a big deal. Yeah, and they need at least some place cheap, since Kyoto blew everything trying to show off. Yui notes out a super cheap inn for the night. Yeah, and how even with like server maintenance, like taking the game kind of off, at least inaccessible to the player base, Asuna can at least move around since she's technically a prisoner. This episode just like kind of jumps back and forth. So, I mean, how in the real world, Suga isn't too used to late nights, and Kyoto just says, hey, don't go too far online, even if saying that makes me a hypocrite. And just drops some cold water down the back of her jacket. Yeah, at the same time, Asuna's trying to find a way to log out, and decides that at least the first place to look would be like the experiment hangar. Yeah. Yeah, then in the real world, Sugaha wants, a green tea raspberry parfait. Honestly, I'm not too big of a fan of tea, because it's just like, I don't know what it is. It's like, just like boiled leaf juice. I have yet to find a tea that's actually good, but, I mean, yeah, green tea raspberry parfait, I can at least, maybe one day I can try it. I mean, at least, and Sugaha offers to even join Kyoto, or Kazuto, at the hospital, so that way she can kinda meet Asuna, at least see her. And how in the game, she's made her way to the experiment hangar, and she can kinda see what Sugo is doing to the brains of the imprisoned players. And two lackeys come in, some like weird tentacle slug avatar. Not sure what the hell that's all about. And also, like, instead of like trying to hide somewhere and stay hidden at all times, like, Asuna decides to just start making a run for it. And then Kazuto and Sugaha are taking a bus to get to the hospital. And apparently all the children from that were essentially trapped in SAO, lost 2 years of their lives. And they're all being dropped into essentially one single school. Which kind of does make sense, because, I mean, Kyoto technically would have almost started high school, but because he lost 2 years, he didn't even have any study materials to go over for 2 years. Yeah, someone can take the right classes, get enough credits, and then get into college. I mean, and also it's kind of a way to keep an eye on all the Sword Art Online kids, and what that whole event did to their psyches. And Kazuto doesn't really have any confidence to get into a proper high school since he just missed so much studying. Suga almost wants to volunteer to train or to tutor him. And he just asks, "Oh, so you know a lot about math and information technology?" Maybe not. Then they arrive at the hospital, and Asuna's room, where Kazuto kind of introduces them, but, well, obviously Asuna can't say anything there. Yeah, but back in the game, that would be something if, like, Asuna actually managed to log out right then and there, and then all of a sudden, "Oh, hi, Kirito. Who's the girl?" Yeah, but unfortunately she does get captured. And then she tries to bluff her away, like, "Oh, I know Sugo, he knows I'm supposed to be here." Maybe I shouldn't call this the ALfheim Online arc, maybe I should call it the Bluff arc, because everyone is bluffing. Asuna asks, like, "Hey, aren't you guys scientists? Where are your morals?" And they try to say, "Well, hey, this is more ethical than, sticking electrical probes into an animal's brain," and that's debatable. And all they're really doing is creating dreams, which, that's you're still definitely crossing the line. One lackey gets out, the other, well, starting to hold Asuna in place, but then he starts wrapping a bunch of tentacles, and Asuna just, like, really bites into his tentacle, just yikes. And, well, the other lackey comes back, and at least their discussion about what Sugo said distracted them enough that Asuna could, snag the key card from that console before being thrown back into the birdcage. And then, back in the hospitals, Suga questions if, coming there to meet Asuna was a good idea. And she just doesn't know, where to place her thoughts or her feelings right now. And how even, Asuna is, she's determined to fight back. And, and at least that night, server maintenance is done, so Kirito and Lifa can log back in. And, well, I mean, because similar to the nerve gear, the atmosphere does directly connect to the brain. So, Lifa can't really just hold back any of her tears. Because she's fallen in love with Kazuto, but she has to bury those feelings. And Kirito just kind of offers he can go the rest of the way himself, but, well, she came this far, so she can see it through. Yui, Yui just, shows up and starts yawning, and it's just wait, do you sleep? And she says, she turns off her input circuits and processes the data she's acquired. So it's kind of like sleeping, but when booting up, she yawns to mimic the human boot up sequence. Because Kirito's yawns apparently last for about 8 seconds. And hell, in our rune, it's definitely quite interesting, because it's back in Sylvain, it was just, well, a bunch of sylphs, but in a rune at the center of everything, it's a smorgasbord of all the different races, and how they're all getting together. No one's trying to fight. It's just, wow, this is kind of neat. This is what all cities should be, right? Well, you would think. And how, even from any part of the city, they can definitely see the world tree. The perimeter of the base is off limits, except for where the entrance to the main thing would be. And then that way no one can even try climbing up together. And the barrier is set just above the clouds to prevent any players from actually flying up. And as they're walking away, Yui detects Asuna's player ID directly above. So Kirito just grits his teeth and immediately shoots straight up into the air. Kirito just flies his absolute hardest and fastest, and then he eventually just hits that magic invisible wall, and that and he can't fly any further at all. And he just keeps smacking the barrier. Leafa tries to pull him back, but, I mean, well, her advice is just essentially ignored. Because he doesn't really care if it's that pointless. He needs to get up there. You know, even Yui tries crying out, but thankfully Yui can, like, send an alert directly to Asuna. You know, she wakes up, but she can't do anything from inside the bird cage, except, she can drop the admin card. But I mean, hell, even Yui can't access the admin privileges without the right console. But it's something to indicate Asuna is there, and it's quite something because, like, Kirito's holding the card. Well, Yui, at least in her pixie form, is touching the card, and Asuna's, like, reaching down, just touching the card. Even if they are, well, pretty far apart, especially at this point, they are still connected in a way. And Kirito's super duper determined to get to the top of the world tree, and so he needs to get in. Leafa just tells him, hey, even the absolute largest, most powerful raiding parties couldn't get through it. But Kirito just doesn't hear it. He just, oh, thanks for the help, and poof, off he goes. Because apparently he has no other choice. You know, Kirito reassures Yui that, hey, you know, there's not really any choice, and at least if their hit points, at least if Kirito's hit points drop to 0, he won't die. Yeah, he does. He just absolutely refuses to spend another second waiting around doing nothing. So he approaches, and then, like, 2 giant guardian statues just, like, yeah, some kind of they give out some kind of grand speech, just prove thou art worthy of flight. And they open the door and like essentially part ways for him. And the inside of the tree is just, like, lined with uncountable, at least, well, there might be an actual number, but I mean, there's just so many spawn points for the NPCs to come out of. And Kirito just runs up and sort of kind of starts to play. He doesn't care about how much damage he's taking, because he needs to get to Asuna no matter what. I mean, the NPCs kind of just, like, suddenly change tactics. At first they're fighting melee, then they start firing a bunch of arrows, then they start, like, throwing their swords like spears. And it's just too much. He gets beaten, so he has to essentially sit there and wait until the timer counts down for his respawn. And he just kind of realizes that without the fear of actually dying, he didn't really care about his limits, as his, like, remainder flame is just floating there. Leafa comes flying through, grabs the fire, and runs out with it. The door is closed, NPCs go back away. Even though she brings Kirito back, Kirito just asks Leafa, please don't do that again, because he doesn't want to cause her any trouble. Yeah, and Leafa tries to stop him, saying that, you know, he means so much to her. But he's just, well, if he doesn't get up there, nothing will end. Nothing will begin ever again. And he has to see Asuna. She realizes, wait, Kazuto? Sugaha? And they both very quickly log out. Kazuto tries to, like, call through the door and apologize for using the nerve gear again, but that's not the problem. Suga just, well, she fell in love with Kirito since in place of Kazuto. Yeah, she even knows they're not siblings, but cousins, and like, she if he continued being a jerk to her, she would never have fallen in love with him in the first place, and then and then be forced to fall out of love. Well, as she sees it, being forced to fall out of love, fall in love with Kirito, but then they are one and the same. Since they're not siblings, why does he care so much? Why does he care about her now? I mean, she was happy when he finally woke up, and at that point he's being nice to her, and she finally had a real chance to build a bond. And well, Kazuto's just, well, sorry, but I mean, honestly, what really can he say at this point? Sitting outside the door, Kazuto kind of flashes back to when he was 10 and he found that he was adopted, and like at that point he felt like he's the one who didn't belong, so he isolated himself, which not the best solution at that point. And he dived into online gaming, but Sao taught him that, well, the line between a real world and a virtual world is slim as best. All you can do really is accept someone for how you see them, because that's who they really are. They may try to say something, try to put up front, but the way you see them is how they really are. And hell, after waking up, he wanted to close the gap that had grown between them. And he wonders what he can do, so he tells Suga he'll wait in Arun at the North Terrace. Probably figuring it'll just be easier to talk virtually. Well, Suga, goddamn, so many people are idiots. She's wondering just how she can be strong like him. But she was the one who helped to support him when he was down. I mean, hell, strength is not just it doesn't mean, like, who's the best with a sword, or who can lift the heaviest boulder. I mean, sometimes it's just, like, being there to support someone. It can be physically, it can be emotionally. As long as you can be there to support someone and be there for them, and give them the words that they need to hear to keep moving forward, sometimes that's all someone needs. Leafa ends up at the, just like standing at the World Tree door. Yeah, Rekon finds her, who apparently somehow escaped from the salamanders, and tracked her down to Adrum. And Leafa says that what she said to Kirito wasn't very nice. And at that point, Rekon definitely pushes his limits, that, Leafa shouldn't cry, because she's always happy and smiling, and he'll stay with her always. And he tries to move in, confessing his feelings, but she slugs him one, because Rekon apparently doesn't realize that more than confessing his feelings, the feelings definitely need to be mutual. Leafa goes to find Kirito, and they both decide that they should finish their sword match. While they do go back and forth a number of times, well, they both intended to throw the match, so they just, like, collide into each other, and Kirito knows that he, even with everything that has happened in the past couple months, he hasn't really left Sao, and he can't until Asuna wakes up. And hell, like, because he's, like, split between, like, what he needs to do for Asuna, what he needs to do for Suga, and he doesn't really know where he fits in just yet. Yeah, they both get back, and then, well, because Leafa's going in, Rekon agrees to join them, so that way they can get in. And Yui analyzed the Guardians, and like individually, they are not too powerful. The problem is their numbers. Leafa's ready, and Rekon's ready, and he has both of them to heal them, so that way he can like keep moving forward and fighting and keep them both from danger. Kirito just fights with everything he's got. The light at the top of the inside of the tree just gets blocked because all the all the Guardians are just numbering that much. Yeah, how even though they're not attacking, both Leaf and Recon are attracting the attention of the Guardians. Recon, being, well, the only one still in the dark about everything that's going on, wonders if, like, the raid is really, like, their three-party person raid is worth it. And Leaf assures that it is. Recon just jumps right in, like, casting some kind of a spell that's like a magic whip that just slices through all the Guardians, and then he uses some kind of dark magic spell to create a massive explosion. Some kind of self-destruction spell that has a worse penalty than what would normally be a respawn penalty. Kirito nearly makes it through the opening, and it closes again because all the Guardians are just spawning in so damn fast. And, well, hope nearly seems lost. Until the perfect, convenient timing from the Sylph and Katsi armies as they just run in, led of course by Saki and Alicia. Their combined attacks with, well, Swordland and the power of main character, as they can finally make some good headway. Kirito and Leafa fight back to back, and in them as the opening comes again. Kirito attempts to go through, but the Guardians, they are extremely determined to stop someone from reaching the top. They literally crash into one another. Then Leafa throws her sword, and he just starts plowing through, and hell, even at that point, Kirito's eyes turn yellow again. I mean, hell, he is definitely pushing past the limits of the system again in order to power through and get to what needs to happen. And as he touches the door, both the armies fall back, and it's only Kirito and Yui at the door. But the door doesn't open. It's just, oh, what the hell? The door was apparently never even meant to be opened by a player. It's closed by admin privileges. And Kirito's just, wait, hold on. The card. We can use the card, right? And hell, it works, because they're both teleported to the other side. And they both end up in that super bright hallway where Yui can easily guide Kirito through, just breaking down door after door, wall after wall, just creating their own openings until they eventually get to the bird cage. And they're up in the branches of the world tree. Nope, no giant floating city with a bunch of infinite flying elves. Yeah, go figure. But, Yui and Kirito get to show up at the birdcage, and hey, it's a happy reunion. They can't, but even Yui can't log Asuna out right there. They need to get to an actual console. And then some kind of a vortex, and they get transported to another room. And then, in comes the, perv asshat, Sugo. In the game, he is Fairy King Oberon. And apparently in the next update, there's going to be some type of gravity magic. Which, technically won't be out till the next update, but as the main guy, he can use it. Yeah, and apparently he detected some kind of a strange program running around. And Kirito just says, I flew up here with my wings. And, Sugo's just, I can just poke around in your mind directly anyway. And apparently, thanks to his 300 SAO guinea pigs, the technology to perfectly manipulate emotions and memories is 80% complete. And he calls it the power of a god, and it's just... And he doesn't believe that anyone can stop him. Yeah, God damn it. He brings some chains that, chain Asuna up, and then, brings the gravity magic down even more, just, oh, you can't get NPC girls to make faces like that. Oh, so glad his karma's coming. So freaking glad. Now, it would seem as though, like, getting Asuna's smell down just perfectly was the real challenge. Apparently, as was getting an analyzer into the room without anyone noticing. Yeah, Kirito tries to get up, but then, well, Oberon just kicks him back down and like, essentially just runs him through and reduces the pain absorber down to 8. And, oh, you can look forward, I'll reduce the pain absorber gradually. Yeah, he heads on over to Asuna and just, like, oh, no, I'm not gonna, what the hell? Oh, nothing. I thought I saw something on my phone, but no. Yeah, I'm not gonna describe what Oberon does, but it's not a pretty sight. He's just, hey, I wonder how long you may be strong, but how long will it be before your pride breaks? At that point, it's like, Kirito just thinks, like, what can he do? He believes he's being punished for thinking he's some kind of hero. Or that he has, like, some kind of true strength when it's not true strength, which again, it's like, strength isn't always who can swing the sword the hardest or lift the heaviest boulder, but yeah. Then a voice just from nowhere asks, "Oh, are you giving up?" And he's just, well, Kirito's just facing reality. No, that is giving up. Yeah, giving up to the power of a system he once defied. Hello, Akihiko Kayaba. And he's just, hey, do you really think our battle was a joke? Yeah, Kirito showed him that there was a human will, that human will was superior to the system, and opened up all the possibilities of the future. Kirito gets to, finally stands up and just says, you think this is something? The blades in SAO hit way harder. And he uses the Heathcliff ID to get, to essentially strip Oberon of all of his commands and all of his power. And Oberon, it's about damn time. Oberon just, lines out that, well, he's the god of this world. And Kirito's just, no, this is an exact copy of Sword Art Online. Saying that he stole everything and he's just a king of thieves, sitting alone on a stolen throne. And Kirito just, tells Asuna that, hang on for just a moment longer. This will only take a moment. Oberon tries to, bring out Excalibur, and nothing happens. And, well, Kirito calls out and just, wow, that's all it takes to get a legendary weapon? Here you go. Grabs his own sword, and it's just, this is the ultimate battle between the King of Thieves versus the Gilded Hero. Swordland gets to play, Kirito sets the pain absorber to 0, and then just, the first cut is just like a little tiny cut on the cheek. And he's just, it's like, dude, you deserve way hell worse than that. Yeah, and then, yeah, and Kirito even notices that Akihiko Kaiba never flinched, and Sugo just loses his Well, that was Kaiba's ID? He's always getting in the way, damn, it's like, dude. Yeah, Kaiba's always getting in the way, taking what was rightfully his. It's just, dude, you didn't earn a damn thing. Everything you have is because Daddy was in the right position and you kissed enough ass to be where you are. Kirito can understand that way because he ended up working for Kaiba, joining the guild, Yeah, and even with that one tiny cut, just, yeah, that hurt. It's nothing compared to the pain you caused Asuna. Not even close. Kirito just, like, chops off his hand, chops off his legs, and then just, like, grabs him by the hair and throws him up and then spikes his eye. Hell yes, that is extremely satisfying. At that point, well, at least Kirito and Asuna are safe, and like, she has faith that he'll always save her since he is her hero, regardless of how anyone else sees him. And he'll do his best, and Asuna says that she wants Kirito's face to be the first that she sees after waking up. And they will definitely go places and have fun. And how Kirito can use Kaiba's commands to finally end the experiment once and for all and let everyone wake up. And then Kirito stays to have a conversation with Kaiba, or I guess you could call it Kaiba's ghost. Yeah, he's alive in a way. Hell, even this version of Kaiba describes himself as an echo of what was Akihiko Kaiba. And he doesn't want any thanks because, well, they're not friends. And he hands over what he calls the seed. Saying that, well, he can keep it or delete it. But if he holds any fondness at all for the virtual world, well, he'll take care of it, and hopes to meet Kirito once again. Now, thankfully, Yui was able to hide in the local memory of Kirito's nerve gear, and so she starts crying because, well, hell, at least Asuna made it back home, and Kirito promises to visit again. Even if ALfheim doesn't last anymore, at least her core memory exists in his nerve gear. And Kirito finally wakes up, and Suguha's kind of worried, but Kirito looks at her and just kind of like, wow, Suguha Lifa, definitely one and the same. And Suga just like tells him, no, you have to go and visit Asuna right away. And he just hops on his bike even with the snow starting, and he can't wait to like truly introduce the two of them so that way they can actually meet each other. Hell, even despite all the cold, Kirito just rides his bike as quickly as he can all the way down to the hospital where Asuna is, only to suddenly be ambushed by Sugo in the parking lot. And he just tries to say that Kirito was the one who did a bad thing, and it's just like, how delusional can you be? Oh, and apparently there are plenty of companies that would want him and his research, and he'll be the god of the real world too because of it. But first, he wants to get Kirito for humiliate him, and the punishment for that is death. There won't be anything less. But he misses. Hell, Kirito took the pain observer down to 0. Sugo even said that, hey, if it gets down to 3, it'll affect your real-world body. But Kirito dropped it to 0 and stabbed him through the eye. He has some nerve calling Kirito some kind of a scum that doesn't have any real power. But honestly, neither does Sugo. Kirito manages to get the knife away and picks it up and just says, this is such a weak weapon. So light, no reach. But it's all I'll need to kill you! And Sugo tries to run away, but Kirito just grabs his head and smashes it into the side of someone's car. Oh, hopefully he can write that off as, I need to stop this jackass. When everything that Sugo did just run through Kirito's mind, just like getting his blood pumping as he's holding the knife to Sugo's throat. But he does decide better, just drops the blade, and it's just, honestly, that's probably a good choice. Kirito already had to kill a few people back in Sora Online, laughing, coughing, and whatnot. And he just like leaves Sugo out in the cold on the cold parking lot. Yeah, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing I don't get, because Kirito walks into the hospital. He has a cut on his face, an arm that's been slashed open, is bleeding all the way down to his hand. Where in the hell is any of the hospital staff? Hospitals run 24/7. How in the hell did no receptionist or nurse or security or even a janitor, somebody, how in the hell did Kirito walk around dripping blood probably everywhere with no one stopping him? I suppose that would stop Kirito and Asuna being united in the real world this time. Asuna sees the wound and he explains that he just fought the final boss, but Asuna can't really hear him too well, but she can tell it's really over. And yeah, Kirito can definitely see both of their Aincrad avatars out the window. They just kind of fade into the snow that's falling down. Yeah, and that's definitely a big visual that Sword Art Online is truly done, and well, at least the Sword Art Online incident is done and over with forever. And then how back at the special SAO school, everyone's just like kind of getting back into the groove of their life 4 months after, well, I guess because it's May and everything that just happened was like the second week of January. Yeah, so another 4 months later, finally, everything is done. Yeah, and then Asuna and Kirito get to have their own like little picnic in the on a bench in the middle of the school grounds. Yeah, and I guess what I don't quite get is like Kirito mentions that hey, they're not supposed to use their avatar names, and it's just like, well, okay, kind of two problems. One mini problem is Asuna used her real name for her avatar, so everyone knows it's her. And number two, like when SAO started, everyone's avatar face dropped. No one was wearing a mask anymore, so everyone knows what everyone looks like. So what's the big deal about using their online handle versus their real name? It's just, hey, I know your face. I knew you in the game as Asuna, Kirito, Liz, Silica, so on and so forth. But on the bright side, Asuna's rehab is going well enough. She doesn't need to use crutches anymore, but it'll still be a little while before she can run. Hell, when you haven't used muscles for Asuna at least, over 2 years, yeah, you definitely have to walk before you can run. Well, how on the bench, like, holding hands is taboo. Well, technically, something like that would be very taboo in any Japanese school. Yeah, but, I mean, they can still flirt back and forth, and Asuna can tease him about holding back on lunch, but she'll still give him some. And apparently, Asuna's dad, who was one of the board members for Rect, took an early retirement. Hell, Sugo was arrested in the hospital parking lot. And initially, he tried to blame everything on Kaiba, a dead man. But then one of his employees was arrested, started spilling the beans, and then, well, Sugo finally confessed to everything. And definitely a very, very silver lining is that the 300 test subjects he captured can't remember anything about what happened, like when they were forced to dream and be experimented on. So, yeah, definitely a very silver lining. But not all things went well, because after Sword Art Online and ALfheim Online, well, VR MMOs really could never survive with all the all the negative press. Like, new ones could try to pop up, but there's just too much negativity about the whole thing. Hell, even Kaiba did, like, apparently he tried to do a high-density output scan of his brain, the odds being 1 in 1,000 that it would actually work, but it definitely seemed to. And hell, up in the cafeteria, like, looking down at where Asuna and Kirito are, there's Liz, or Rika, and Silka, or her real name, Ayano. They're just kind of jealous of how Asuna and Kirito can be all over one another, even at school. And they kind of agreed to just, like, kind of look the other way and let the romance continue on. But they all get to meet up at Egel's shop, the Dicey Cafe, and help celebrate Kirito finally beating SAO, and now everyone's woken up, it's truly done. After all the initial cheering, Kirito kind of jokes about, hey, can I get a bourbon on the rocks? Yeah, but Egel gives, like, I guess he would be still 15, or, yeah, I'm pretty sure, I think because he said it would just turn 15, or at the end of, as Ironclad was being purged from the SAO servers. Yeah, so Egel just slides him an oolong tea. But Klein, being at least 24, although, maybe, who knows, I don't know exactly when it wasn't, or at least it hasn't been established in the anime exactly when his birthday is, so could have turned 25 within a few months, depending on exactly when his birthday is. Definitely old enough to get a big boy drink. Hell, Thinker is there, and he recently married a Yulier. And Thinker tried to create some kind of MMO, which, well, he said that he wished he could have done more with it, but hell, it went well, because the seed that Kaiba gave Kirito, he gave to Egel. They sent up like 50 different mirrors of the seed, and then in total it's been downloaded over 100,000 times. So that way anyone can set up their own kind of world and game, with some of the big companies downloading it to create a brand new world, just like with a cardinal system base, but then building off of that. And it's a good thing, because that's exactly what the virtual MMOs needed to stay afloat. Another company took up the servers for ALfheim, and then kept it running so that way, and then someone can, like, take their avatar and transfer it to another world with like skills and levels and whatnot intact, so that way they can, like, experience a brand new world in an infinite number of times. Then, back in ALfheim, Leafa just pushes herself, all the way up to the altitude limit and ends up falling down. And Leafa wonders why, because, like, apparently a bunch of people, from SAO are using their old avatars. Leafa wonders why Kirito's not trying to use his, and he's just, that Kirito's mission is over and done with. This is it. A new time, a new adventure. And Leafa's just happy that she was the first to meet Spriggan Kirito and guide him on an adventure to get to where he needed to go. And she apparently has a new technique where you can hover and someone can spin only on the x-axis, which will kind of imitate a kind of dance. At that point, Leafa tries to say that she should leave because everything is just too far away from her. I mean, hell, even back in the party, everyone was celebrating the end of SAO. Suha was kind of the odd one out, because everyone else in there understood what happened in SAO and what everyone went through. Suga kind of doesn't really understand. She can kind of understand from an outside perspective, but she doesn't have the first-hand experience to understand what everyone went through. and she's just everything is just too far away from me. But Kirito's just no, you can go anywhere you really want, and he just like starts pointing out because the floating castle of Aincrad comes on down, and Kirito vows to beat it this time. He'll go floor by floor and eventually reach all the way to the top to actually beat it. And hell, Leafa even agrees to go with him. And hell, God, there'd be way too many pictures to put up, but every single character from Sword Art Online, ALfheim Online, just to show up and to fly into Aincrad, but this time without the fear of being stuck in the game and dying. And then the final credits play as damn, what's the name of the song? Crossing Field. Yeah, Crossing Field plays with like a slideshow of the different pictures that have happened throughout the first season. Still, I would say that the Aincrad arc should have been longer, but hell, it is what it is. But the pacing in this arc was actually kind of nice. I mean, Kirito, it may seem kind of rushed, but I mean, Kirito was definitely on a time limit with like less than a week to go. To try and get to Asuna and wake her up and reach out to her. And yeah, okay, there are, like, I have heard a couple criticisms for this arc, like turning Asuna into a damsel in distress, which, yeah, that kind of happened, but kind of didn't. Because, I mean, it was a luck of the draw that Sugo, like, tracked 300 players, and Asuna being one of those players, so that way he could experiment with, like, a type of mind control. And, yeah, he locked up Asuna. He locked her up. She couldn't get anywhere. She had no system privileges. She couldn't get anywhere until she found a way to punch in the code so that way she could get out, grab the card. But even with the card, what is she going to do? She's still trapped. She can't do anything, so she has to drop the card and hope that Kirito can save her, because that's her only hope at that point. And then the whole, like, sister-cousin falling in love, it definitely is weird, and honestly that could have been cut out. I was never really that close with my cousins, because, well, we lived so far apart. Sometimes in some families, depending on the situation, cousins can be a little closer. And in certain cultures, yeah, maybe cousins can get into a relationship and it's not really looked weird on. Now I do realize that the culture of Japan is definitely different from the culture of the United States. But in this situation, in this particular situation, in this particular story, like, the whole romance thing feels kind of forced. It's almost like it has to be the token isekai harem rather than something different. Like, oh, it's an isekai, has to be a harem, right? Honestly, I think the story could have been better without the sister-cousin love story. But even so, I definitely enjoyed it, and I enjoyed getting through it again. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed watching through things again just for this, and the next thing I'll be going through is the extra movie. Well, next month, the next Thoughtful Thursday, which will be in, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, depending on how long this fully edited thing gets to be. Yeah, once I get to the comment shoutouts, then, yeah, so I'll do that, and then the extra recap movie, it is technically a recap movie, but it does add something extra, and there are a couple other points I would want to go over again, just kind of add a new perspective, so to speak. Well, not really a new perspective, just a more evolved perspective. Yeah, I want to offer a more evolved perspective on certain things. Before I move on to Sword Art Online 2, Which, well, the first arc of that is gonna be another 7 hours to go through, so. But hey, at least the next one will be super easy while I'm getting all the Morrowind supercuts together, because, yeah, this will be coming out as I'm getting the Morrowind supercuts together. So thankfully, while I'm getting the Morrowind supercuts together, the next Thoughtful Thursday will be that much easier just to get through. And I'm rambling again, so I will stop the record so I can get these files to where I need them, and then move on to the, well, a whole 3 comment shoutouts. yeah, I'll see you there, and I will also see you next month. Well, I'm wearing this Asuna shirt. Totally forgot to show that off, but yeah. Yeah, Asuna and her Ironclad outfit, so that's lots of fun. Yeah, okay. Rambling over. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell so you can always be notified whenever I upload another video. And as always, have fun.